building inspections, they are there to protect the buyer, and they always do, right?
Moving forward with the Dekker team. Moving forward together with the Dekker team.
We're so excited that for over 30 years, we at the Dekker team have been able to journey with you to help build wealth, to grow wisdom, not just around real estate, not just buying and selling and investing, although we got a handle on that. It's really been so much more. It's been about helping individuals thrive in their life as a whole. And so we're grateful that you've let us do that. Bring us into your home and into your finances and into those things that actually help you thrive. Thank you. And so today, building inspectors and how they can actually cause us sometimes to lose the house we really want. And what do we have to do to make sure that our interests are actually protected?
So building inspectors are fantastic in general.
Mm-hmm.
Having someone come and inspect the house before you make that full commitment to it is wonderful. However, there are many different types of homes out there. A city home is very different than a country home. A home that is over 100 years old is very different than a new build. So it's important to pick the inspector based on the type of house that you're buying. They have to have experience in that certain area. Otherwise, you don't know if they're guessing or if they're going to miss things. It's just really important that they know what they're talking about in that particular area.
Exactly. And so what you want to do, how you might safeguard yourself against having the wrong inspector is actually, even if we book the appointment for our clients, I think it's a great idea. Phone them, have a conversation with them. Now, if we've personally matched you to somebody, it's because we believe they're the right fit for you as well as the right fit for the house. If you're making the decision by yourself, you're really looking for somebody that's going to be a match for you, for sure. That is important. And you're also looking for somebody that's a match for the house. It's two very different conversations that we're having. Right. And when somebody chooses an inspector that has no experience, one of the biggest pitfalls is that we end up with inspector and second opinions and third opinions from outside parties. Right. And it creates a lot of additional cost. And what it does probably more that concerns me is it actually creates doubt.
Right.
Doubt, confusion, chaotic thinking, the ability now not to be able to make a great decision.
And there is a time factor to consider as well. If you have a condition of building inspection and now your building inspector says, well, I don't know about this part of your home, you need to have someone else in, you have a limited amount of time where you can find another expert, get them in and get their opinion before you can be comfortable waiving your condition.
Exactly. So choosing an inspector that actually has expertise. And I know we all had to get started somewhere.
Right.
Like, we really did have to get started somewhere. There was a time when I'd sold 0 houses, and I'm just so grateful that it worked out okay. Because having experience is important. So experience in the type of house and experience in general. I mean, we just recently had somebody come into a property that was pretty new at inspecting, and the uncertainty that now is created for the buyer where there was no need for uncertainty. There was nothing really of concern. So the other big thing around building inspections is being clear, crystal clear up front, what the purpose of it is. The purpose is not to find all the little niggly, annoying, pesky things that are wrong with the house, because there is not a home, new or otherwise, that I couldn't create, or an inspector couldn't create, if that's what they were there for, a page of deficiencies. Whether it's grading, whether it's missing caulking around some of the windows, some of the doors, or all of the windows and all of the doors. The reality is it's there to be had if that's what you're looking for. Except as an inspector, that's actually not what they're there looking for. What they're there looking for is the big ticket items, those things that are deal breakers, and those things that are beyond the delayed, deferred this year's maintenance. I mean, I say to every buyer, count on doing this year's maintenance. Some of it may have been done, but reality is just count on it. Count on doing some grading. Enjoy getting outside with a shovel and a bucket of dirt, and maybe it's a whole lot of wheelbarrows. Maybe it's a tractor trailer load. Well, usually not, but sometimes it's significant grading. And yet that's kind of a common thing because around the foundation, earth is going to settle. If it hasn't been topped up in 4 or 5 years, you're going to have a depression and you're going to get some water. We're going to talk about that in another episode, though, the water part. So really just being aware of what you're looking for in the front end. It's great to get all the little items and to be very particular. Just don't let them be your decision-making point, because you may be very disappointed. You move on to the next house, it's going to have the same list.
Or a different list with the same sort of idea. Yeah.
Exactly.
Every house has things.
Right. Yeah. What are some of those things that you even know about your house, Leah?
I'm sure there's a whole list of things. I have a great house and I'm very happy in it, but I'm sure a building inspector could go through and just create a huge list of deficiencies and things that I should be doing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because there's always more maintenance to be done than we seem to get to.
Exactly.
And now I know, I'm going to speak to you that's very particular. I have been in a home that I can find next to nothing. And I'm going to tell you those are rare and far and few between. There are people that are right on top of it. They are particular, they're meticulous, and so is their home. That's not typical. And so many a sale will fall through just due to things that are typical. And so I'm going to encourage you to really get clear up front. What are your expectations? What are you looking for? Because when we go through the home, and so the other piece of that is having a realtor with you that actually understands what a building inspection is going to do and also able to identify in advance so many of the things that are going to come up. Most of the time, it's just about having the building inspector verify what we already believe to be true about the house. That's the way it works best. If we get a lot of surprises, again, big surprises cause concern. And so really just be incredibly crystal clear up front about the purpose, who's doing it, why they're doing it, how they're doing it, and you're going to have a great sale. Because what ends up happening if you don't buy the house because something little has been thrown out of proportion. That is like a biggie. A little item gets made into a big thing when it's really not a big thing, but it's all of a sudden been blown out of proportion. When that happens and the buyer walks away, which I've unfortunately seen many a time, and then resold the home. My daughter even bought a home a few years ago, not the one she's in now, because that was my house. However, another one where we'd had it sold, I popped over during the building inspection, and I knew immediately as I walked into that house with the inspector, wasn't my inspector, wasn't my buyer, that they weren't moving forward because there was things being brought up that were insignificant and treated as though they were significant. So just get clarity up front. Just help yourself. So because otherwise that house is going to get more beautiful in your mind's eye, and it's just going to be really difficult to find a property that's ever going to match the one that got away because it gets better than it really was. Right. So we're so grateful to be your partners moving forward together, because together we've got this.
Moving forward with the Dekker team. Moving forward together with the Dekker team.